everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today for another episode of Stitcher's Habadashery, where we make some stitching or sewing related ephemera. And today I've decided to make, hold on, let me just hang up this card again. I've decided to make a different kind of thread sample card. So last video I did make one kind of a sample card. I was inspired by these today. So these are actually from those little LED light strings, little fairy lights. So they have this fun texture to the side, and I probably will use these in journaling ephemera at some point, but not today. I'm just going to take inspiration from them. So I've got together a bunch of different colors, kind of a rainbow of threads here that I'm going to be using as part of what we're doing today. But I'll set them aside for now, but just to let you see them for a moment. Then I'm going to make 4 pieces of ephemera, I think. So these are just little cardstock weight cards that I found them in a thrift store. They're just simple pieces of paper card. So what I want to do first is just collage them with scraps. I'm going to do that very simply by color. And I just have to get another glue stick. And my glue book, which I only see my big one right now. There's my little one. It's just getting sparse. So hopefully today my frame is a little better. I apologize if you saw my Tuesday 10 this week. I was a little bit this way. I had to move I have a sort of a rigging system that my husband built for me. It's actually quite nice. It's like a professional rigging system for my camera that I can actually slide you around and all sorts of fun things. But yeah, I think it had gotten pushed back a little bit this way when I was rearranging some things. So I apologize for being a little out of camera last time. I was too close to the edge of my desk, but I didn't want to waste the whole video. I felt like you could still see decently what I had created, and I did do a recap at the end, and why not? Not everything has to be super perfect. Also, Tuesday 10 is kind of about stitching, or not stitching, you could stitch, but just crafting along with me and having an easy peasy kind of time of it. So I'm going to just cover these in scraps and just have a bit of a relaxing little collage session here. And I'm mostly going to use sort of shapes that are a little geometric. So this one will mostly be blues, and I am going to be wrapping around onto both sides because I want to give a bit of thickness to these. So I think I can use a bit of these stars. No perfection required here because we are going to be adding another layer of embellishing on top of this. That's a little too small to wrap around, so I will actually just give it a chop because I don't like having those loose ends. I'll go this way. Oops, we have a little chunk of glue there. I have a slightly busy day ahead of me. It's early. Work hasn't started yet. It's the golden hours of the morning for me while I film this still before my day gets crazy. But I do have lots going on today. In fact, I'm double booked for meetings, so I've had to send a couple of emails saying, so I have this thing called a calendar, you might want to check it out sometime. think a lot of people just get very focused on whatever their need is, like whatever they're doing, and then they're like quickly booking you, and they don't even take a look at if you're already potentially booked. It's okay though. I'm sure I'll figure it out. So I'm just sort of searching behind me for things here. I'm going to actually work on more than one of these at a time as I go. So that can be my blues and purples, and this will be my greens maybe. Just kind of go through this quicker. Like this bird. Whoops. Did I just throw my bird in the recycle bin? Where did it go? I literally just... Oh, there it is. Okay. You can probably see that the whole time, right? And I'm just struggling here. Oh, goodness. And then maybe this one can be yellows and pinks. And then some purples on this one. Actually, I can do purple on the back of this one as well and get it done. Just kind of split this between here and here. Yeah, I woke up this morning and there weren't actually very many YouTube videos posted. I think everyone's having a little bit of a quiet morning. I don't know. I'm actually feeling very much like happy. It's a shorter week because we had family day. I really feel like I just need a break. I'm not even sure why I'm feeling so much that way, but I really am. I'm just tired this week. I sometimes think it's just, I've reached a point with winter where I just feel like, okay, I know it's winter. I feel so done as we approach March. I really kind of only love winter and snow until maybe January 1st. So I definitely live in the wrong country, but I do embrace it as best I can. I do love the beauty of walking in the winter time, the quiet, and how the snow sits in the tops of, pine trees and creates this bluish light everywhere. And I do love that. I love that it just makes you want to be cozy. That's a very nice feeling. But yeah, there are definitely times where I'm sort of just longing for warmth and springtime, and that's coming very soon. I'm excited. I do love springtime. I think spring and fall, if I could live somewhere where it were spring and fall just all the time, I would be a happy cat. But that's just not how things go. Actually, I can use this one as well. Whoops. So I'm just going to keep collaging until I finish one of these, and then I will show you the next step. But I'm just going to keep going on the collage a little bit until we get there. if you can hear my children, they are upstairs being their wild selves. It's breakfast time, so they always are a little bit hyper before they have their breakfast. Yesterday I keep saying, like, I don't need any more musical or noisy toys and games, but my daughter was really interested in a toy that I remember from my childhood, it's this toy called Simon, and it's about, like, there's 4 buttons on it, red, yellow, blue, and green, and you follow patterns, and each time you see, like, there's a pattern, the button will light up and make a tone, and so you have to sort of follow the pattern that it makes. So it's red, yellow, blue, yellow, and then you have to do red, yellow, blue, yellow, then it's red, yellow, blue, yellow, red, and it keeps going and adding an additional step until you make a mistake. So she's definitely just trying to catch the hang of it right now. I think she's a little bit frustrated too. She's just saying, "Oh, I lost again." And I said, "No, it's a learning process. It's learning, helping you learn to follow a pattern. So it's a good thing, and that's how you learn." So she is trying to get her bearings with that a little bit today, and so that will be fun. Oh, I know what I watched this morning that I really enjoyed on YouTube. I watched Maud Heimstra do her little sewing box restoration. She got a vintage sewing box at a thrift store, and she did a lovely restoration of it. It was so cozy to just watch, although I always feel that way when I watch Maud. She has a very comforting tone, and I like her projects and her style and her videos. Totally understand how Gail Agostinelli is always talking about really loving collaging, because it is really just quite relaxing. And I was watching someone the other day who had an interesting and good take on creating master boards inside like a small book, and she talked about like going by color, and I like that. I've been creating master boards in books, and I enjoy doing it, but I've never done what I'm doing now, which is kind of going in similar, specifically in colors. I will often go with whatever sort of strikes my mood, but this project in particular, I felt like it will inspire me to work in colors, because that's how I'm going to be doing these sample cards. I actually have a lot of really fun things coming up for this series, because I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel before, but if you've heard the story, I do apologize if it's repetitive. A few years ago, I inherited, just 1 minute, I inherited a weaver's looms, and with it all of her collection of books and papers and things from having been in a weaving guild in Toronto in the 1960s and 70s, and many of the things that I got were sample books and woven samples that she created, and just different kinds of things that now come in very handy in terms of like using them for ephemera and just sort of reusing these things that may otherwise have been thrown away because they're just kind of archival things from a guild, and they are old, like things that no longer exist in the business, that if they were samples from businesses, like the sample cards that we made last time. I showed weaving samples that were sent out from a store that no longer exists, and so I get to use a lot of that kind of stuff. So I found more of it, and I'm really excited about it. So I told you I would continue when I finish one, so this one's done. So going back to this concept, what I want to do here is create a card that I'm going to kind of lace some threads around that will look nice with the colors I've chosen to collage in. So I'm going to do it with a larger punch though, I've decided. So I'm just going to do these. This is an EK Tools Punch 1 inch, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball. You're going to need a good punch for this if you're doing it, because it is quite thick once you've collaged. 1, 2, I want to leave room for a 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I might do here is just at the edge, the first edge, I should say, of each of these, I'm just going to make a little pencil line on this side so I know where to line the punch up roughly, and that way I will get a relatively even placement of my inset cuts. So does that make sense? Yeah, about there. Okay. Okay. That's a little deep. That one's definitely thinner. Okay, did I not line this up correctly? It's okay. Let's just keep going and not stress about it. We can do it better. We know this. Okay. Yeah, it's a little off there. That's okay. Let's just keep going and see how this goes. Now, colors. So for this one, the colors, I need 4, and I'm going to go with colors that I feel will go well with this. So I think I'm still living in a bit of an Impressionism color palette at this time because I just completed an Impressionism journal. So what I'm going to do, and you can use any kind of threads and yarns for this, the only suggestion I would make is try not to go too thick, because on the back I'm actually going to be covering part of that collage with some paper that can be used for writing. So here, take your thread and put it on the side you're not going to write on and just hold it down. There's no need to tie it. You can if you're feeling very paranoid. Then just wrap, let's just pull some more thread off of here, these cones. So this is also a big part of what I inherited from the weaver, was all of these different threads. I have many weaving threads, which is great because I do weaving. So then wrap this until you're comfortable with how much you have on there, till you like the look of it. Don't pull it too tight that you make the card stressed out. So then what you can do, actually, grab that original thread from the end that I told you not to do anything with really, and then tie the 2 ends together just loosely on the back. I could have left this a little bit longer, but there we go. So we have one. Then I'm going to go with my sort of light tealy blue color. Oops, and don't forget to leave it on the back. This time I'm going to leave it a little longer so that I'll have more to tie with. Oops, and keep it in the groove. And I think these would make really fun pockets as well. So if you're making it into a pocket, you actually don't need to add paper to the back other than to just secure the threads if you want to. It might be a good idea if you're going to be, you know, putting things in and out of the pocket that they don't catch on the threads. So we've got our yellow and our blue. Then we'll go to purple, the darker purple here. And then this light pinky purple. Okay. I'll just trim the thread here. Okay, so now we have this. Then what you can do is you can come in and do any kinds of trimming that you might want to if you don't like certain edges, if you want to make it a little shorter. You could round these edges if you wanted to. I'm going to trim a little off the bottom here to just kind of make it a little more even and a little smaller. So now we have this, and this is the back. So if my concept is that I want to use this as a journal card, I'm just going to grab out of my scraps actually. Piece of paper that is in my scraps that's been cabbage dyed, and I'm going to just fold it over actually to give it a little more thickness, because this is just copy paper. And then I will cut up this one side and then check it against there, a little shorter on the top. A little bit thinner. Okay, so that's good. That's decently, centered. So then I'm just going to glue this part together. Okay. Then I'll go back and add some glue to this. And then just center it here. Okay, so then I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm actually going to stitch just around these 4 corners here. So I will do that and come right back. Okay, so I have stitched all around the backing. So this one could easily be a journal card or a pocket for sure. And you could also do some stamping, or you could even glue on top things over the strings like a focal point, or you could add smaller focal points. You could even slide a focal point underneath and glue it down. You can add a tab or some kind of a ribbon up top or lace. And just embellish it as you like. But I think this is a nice little way to make sort of something else, so that you don't have a journal that's just full of like the same, simplistic things like pocket tag, pocket card, pocket, it gives you another added like feature for your journal. So I went ahead and also finished collaging these ones. I was going to go ahead and just like finish them and show them to you, but then I thought of another idea that could be kind of cute, so I wanted to share it before I do that. So I'll go with this one. And I think I want to use blues and greens and yellows on this one primarily. And what my thought was, this time start here in the center, the second one down, but then go up to the one above, go behind. So lace it kind of like an X repeatedly, just, you know, following that same path over and over again. This kind of reminds me of winding yarn onto what's called a niddy noddy, but it's a little different. We use kind of a figure 8 shape for that, but this is that sort of planned winding to get this pattern. So same thing here, leave a little extra so that you can tie off the back. Go. So that's on there like that. Then I think I'll do the other one with this sort of peppermint green. So this time I'll start at the top here and then go down to the bottom. And again, just following my same, path. The cones do make it a little hard to wind just because it's up high on the desk. Maybe if I just knock it down now. It's just kind of making it that I have to get out of the picture to wind here. And then just keep going until you're happy with how much thread or yarn you have wound on. And I think I'm there. I'm just going to bring it a little closer if I can. Hold on. Because I didn't leave myself a lot of excess, I don't think. Oh, I got a little more than I thought. Okay, never mind. Bring it back again. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then the other thing that you could do too, if you wanted to get even more sort of, you want to show a few more little skills here in how you do things, is you can then work with these in different ways. So you can come under them with a different color like this. And you can wind another color here. So just going right around the X. I'll probably do it about 3 times. And then you can tie it off there and create another little bow. The other thing you can do is then go this direction to switch. And then you'll also wrap from, you've wrapped up and down sort of, so now you can also wrap from side to side. So side to side. So first we worked on the horizontal X, now we're working on the vertical X. Okay. And you could do that with 2 different colors as well. You know, you can get as complicated here as you like. So now I'm just going to pull this back down to the bottom here. Then you can just tie. I would tie a triple knot once this way, and then go the opposite way. This just makes a more tight kind of knot that won't undo. And then I would just do a third one just because I feel like the best knots have three ties. And you could leave this long or you can cut it short. I'm going to cut mine short just because. So there, you've got a little knot. You could even kind of scooch it round the back if you wanted to, a little bit. But yeah, so that's a fun look. And then again, I would just cover the back if you were using it as a writing space. So yeah, it's worth thinking about the different things you could do with these, right? It's kind of fun. So I was thinking it would be nice, this one that has sort of pinks and yellows and oranges and red. I'm going to take the red and the orange together and the yellow, and then I'll just this is going to be a little bit of a calamity of things here, so I'm just going to pull a bit of length from all of them and go right back to the beginning here. So lay this here, then just begin winding it down the card, and then back up. And that's another way that you can just pull, you can get a mix of colors, but it'll be all layered together. Whoops, sorry, this is a little difficult. So it just makes you think about different ways to sort of like lace a card, right? This will be my final wrap here. And it is a little difficult working with threads on cones this way. If you're doing this, I recommend just like balling them or fighting with them like I am. You can also do that. Okay, so then we'll clip at the back. I think I lost my yellow. There it is. Okay. And just be careful not to pull too tight because you will bend. You'll cause the card to bend. Okay. So there, now we have that. And then on the other side, if you see, it's also really interesting on that side. So you could do that in this X instead. You could make this the front and that the back. Doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer. The other things that I could imagine doing with these is hanging little bulb pins, or you could thread and tie beads onto them. And that would add some interest. So yeah, that is my little card sort of plan for today. Hopefully you found this was a little bit fun and it will give you an idea for something a little different to do in a journal. It doesn't even have to be stitching related. You know, like this would sit in a lovely nature themed journal, and you know, you can do other things with it. You can actually use these to trap things in, right? So here's a piece of birch bark. I could trap a piece of birch bark right in there. And this could be like a little birch bark gift that you send to someone in a journal. Maybe they don't have birch trees where they live, or maybe, you know, these actually make really beautiful little writing spaces. So this is just kind of a way to have fun with your ephemera, just adding more and more to it. So try it out. Let me know if you do. I would love to see. Tag Studioloo on Instagram. If you try it, I'd love to see them. So have a great day, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Stitcher's Haberdashery. I have a whole list of fun things that are stitching related, paper related, sort of marrying that together. So thanks again, and bye for now. A quick afterthought. So I took a couple of minutes and finished these all off, stitched around the back as I'd mentioned before, but then decided to experiment with how they would be as like loaded pockety type things. And they're amazing. They're perfect. Look at these. You can stick these little fairies. I did mostly like woodland fairy kind of themes, and I went ahead and used the same color themes as I'd been going with, and I think that it really turned out well. I kept the birch bark in here in this one, but also added this little fussy cut of birds, and then this one has a more purple theme. So yay! This is another way to just kind of, in your journals, you can create something a little bit different, and also this is a nice way to include like little fussy cuts or little tickets or things for people to add into the journals that you give to them or that you're selling or what have you. So anyhow, that's my little PS. So have a good day. Bye for now.